How we feeling, selectors? How we feeling? Sunday night stream, man. You know it's a bonus. It's about to go down, man. Leave a woo in the chat if you're excited. Woo! Okay. Let's get it going, man. What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here, back with a summer heater. Shout out to my man DJCrystalClear, who used the Cash App. He used the Cash App to purchase and have me review Summer Rental, the movie, the 1985 classic, bro. It's a classic. So we're going to do that. If you want to have me review a movie, check out our Cash App again. All of the information is in the description on how you can get your favorite movie reviewed, especially if it's not something recent. This movie came out in 1985, and it's a John Candy special. And so he wanted me to review this one, hit up the Cash App, and here we are, man. So shout out to DJ Crystal Clear. RL's in the building as well. I'm ready. DJ's ready. Let's go. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's get into this review. So DJ and I have been talking a lot on Twitter. If you guys have not been following us there, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cash App, Apple and Spotify podcasts. But he's got a bunch of movies that he wants me to check out that I haven't seen before. I'm going to be honest. I have never seen or heard of Summer Rental by John Candy. I like John Candy a lot. He's in my opinion, one of the top 10 movies of all time. RL and I were talking about this yesterday, about amazing comedies. He is in one of the greatest comedies of all time, and that movie is called Cool Runnings. I love that movie. That's kind of what introduced me to John Candy. And then other movies. He's an 80s megastar, okay? An 80s megastar. Let's talk about Summer Rental and what this movie is about. I'll give you the positives, the negatives, and finally give you a grade. So John Candy plays Jack Chester with his family, Sandy, Bobby, Jennifer, and Lori. And the whole premise is exactly what you think it is. They are going down to Florida to have a summer rental. They go to rent a house and have a vacation. He's an air traffic controller, so his job is very stressful, and you see his stress level just climbing throughout the movie. It starts out with him there, and then eventually things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. What's interesting about this movie, again, it came out in 1985. It's directed by Carl Reiner, I believe is how you say his name. Rip Torn is in this movie. It's crazy. The tagline is "Life is a beach," and I think this image here kind of describes and was probably this image here. It was probably the funniest scene in the whole movie. There's a lot of great movies, or a lot of great parts of this movie. Arl says TB12 is back. Oh yeah, Brady's back. If you guys haven't heard, that didn't take long. DJ says John Candy is a top tier comedian. Top tier, 100%. Amazing. This movie is really great, guys. So, the premise of the movie, going back to that, again, they're down in the rental. He's got his family there, and he pays, a lump sum to go and stay in this house off of the beach and go for it. He ends up taking his family to dinner, and kind of the main guy, I guess, of the town skips him in a 4-hour line and eats his lobsters. He stays out in the sun too long and gets this terrible sunburn. I mean, the movie is just, it's classic 1980s comedy, right? It's classic. It's got that same 80s feel, 80s music. It just has that 80s, what I thought was going to be family comedy. I believe it's PG-13. Is the movie PG-13? So I was actually watching this movie. It's PG. It's PG in 1985. So I'm thinking, I'm going to watch this with my kids, you know. I thought originally it was going to be a lot like the 90s movie What About Bob, which is one of my favorite comedies ever. But it's way more adult. I can't believe this movie is PG, because there's a scene where, I can't recommend it to everyone, because there's a scene where you don't see anything but his neighbor. Okay, let me go back before I get to the neighbor. The house that they've rented, right, for this good chunk of change, I don't remember how much it was. They find out that instead of being at, let's call it 224 Robertson Lane, whatever it is, they're supposed to be at 224 Robinson Way. And so they're in the wrong house, and it's a nice house. They have to leave what they thought was a rental. It was actually someone else's house, and they go to this beach house that, when I tell you, it's terrible. There are people who are using the walkway by his house, because it's a public, it's right where the public beach is. They're like on the beach, and people are making so much noise. They can't talk to each other. It's absolutely crazy. Then, I said this was PG, but it was PG in the 80s, is his neighbor, he goes to his neighbor's house for some reason. The wife has had breast implants. She shows them to him. He's freaking out. He's already busted his leg. The husband comes down, and I'm thinking, oh, it's about to go down. And the husband's like, no, this is totally cool. We bought these for, and we just need to, we're trying to just make sure that they're right. I mean, just crazy scenarios that I don't think you could do this kind of movie in today's world. It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Some of the positives of the movies, again, is it has that 80s feel. DJ says the 80s is just different. It was just a different time. You could get away with so much more, especially in your comedies. John Candy is absolutely the standout in this movie. He totally makes it. Every scene that he's in, he commands. He's just phenomenal in this movie. And then it's laughs, but it's not like Bill Murray laughs or Jim Carrey laughs. It's specifically a John Candy flavor. Those are my positives. On the negative side, as an 80s movie, it's in a weird space. It's in a weird space because it feels like a family movie, but it's not. It's just not. You know what I mean? And so that, if you know that going in, that helps. Another negative is I feel like the rest of the cast is not as funny. He keeps running into this guy who's, at one point in time, they leave the lobster restaurant to go to this dive. I mean, it's just a total like swamp. And there's a guy with a hook on his hand. He's like the owner. Then later on, he's also like renting out boats, and like he keeps popping up, and it's supposed to be kind of this recurring joke. it fell a little flat. And I feel like the rest of the cast is just not as funny as John Candy. But John Candy, everything that he does in the movie is absolutely hilarious. The other scene I gotta say that really made me laugh was his daughter is always wearing headphones, right? These are like Walkman before Walkman kind of headphones. It's got like radios on the side of her ears, and she's dancing through the whole movie. And it seems like she never takes these headphones off. She meets another guy who's got like the stereotypical like Guardians of the Galaxy orange headphones on, and they both are just like vibing together and they like go off with each other. It was hilarious. Totally funny. John Candy, I mean, this is a good movie. This is a good movie. And if you're of age, it's one you've got to see. Really enjoyed it. RL's 80s had the best music. Hard pause. I disagree. That's the only thing about the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. The only thing I don't like about the 80s is 80s pop music. I don't like 80s pop music. 80s, everything else, movies. Well, I can't say I like the dress either. I didn't like the clothing back then. But that's another subject. DJ said, how many movies for $70? They're usually $10 a piece. So we do 7 movies. I try to get them to you within 48 hours on those reviews. Okay, guys? You can find out more on that, again, by checking us at linktr.ee/select screen. That's an easy way to get to the Cash App. Final grade on this. A final grade. This movie is a B+. It is a B+. Only because John Candy has better movies than this, but that doesn't mean this isn't a good movie. It's a good movie. It's just not John Candy's best movie. That's the only reason I'm not giving this an A. He's fantastic in this movie. He is really, really great. Oh, yeah! Give an oh, yeah for John Candy. I mean, you got to see it. It's just a funny movie. It's very funny. And like I said, it seems to be like a predecessor to What About Bob? You can see a lot of the family dynamic, goes on vacation. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, DJ. I totally agree with you that this is a classic. It's one that if you like John Candy and you haven't seen this movie, you need to go see it. Arl says, what? Hard pause. Yeah, man. Michael, I love Michael, but there's a lot of never gonna give you up kind of stuff that I can't rock with that stuff in the 80s, man. DJ says, you do know what you're getting into, John Candy filmography also. Absolutely. And let's take just a minute to appreciate some of the John Candy films. And again, the only reason that this doesn't get an A is because of what we're about to go through. 93, Cool Runnings. I feel like that's one of his greatest movies. Rookie of the Year. Once Upon a Crime is amazing. Home Alone. Speed Zone. How come I didn't see Spaceballs? There we go. Spaceballs. There are look at this list, you guys. National Lampoon's Vacation. Tons of great movies. And so I have a feeling we're going to be reviewing more of these with DJ. So that's why I'm giving us some room to improve as we watch some more of these movies. But this movie is great. It's a good movie, and you need to check it out. Definitely check out Summer Rental. If you're a 2000s kid, you may not understand it, but it's still got great stuff. And again, this scene where he's on the beach, he's got every single item with him, and he's dripping water. Maybe you can see it better in my screenshot. Oh, you can't hear it. Let's see if I can't pull it. He's dripping water on everybody. And I mean, the scene, y'all, when I tell you the scene, it's just hilarious. It's physical comedy, but it's not over the top physical comedy. It's just he's trying to get from point A to point B, and it's just an issue. And it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Let's get to some more of the comments. RL says, tell me what song from 2021 or 22 will be in your head like Never Gonna Give You Up. Let me answer that with nothing. Except the Rick and Morty song by Soulja Boy. I can't stop singing that song. But I promise you, nothing in the 2000s, 2021 is going to hit that. For me, the best era of music was any time from 1995 to basically 2009. That, for me, that music was legit. Anything. I'm talking about rock music. I'm talking about everything. Everything from Daft Punk to everything. It was all crazy good. All crazy good. DJ said, I'm 90s baby and I like 80s comedy. 80s comedies, again, the coming of age stories in the 80s were just amazing. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see that again. I don't think we'll see coming of age stories like that ever again. They were just too good. Too good. And the music within the movies is such an era. It's such just a vibe. I will say that. Movies were great, but the dress alone, the style of the 80s, I can't vibe with, man. And it's back. That's the crazy thing. The short shorts on guys, I can't do it. I just can't. Arlo says that's why the 80s is the best. And don't get me wrong, there are things that I love in the 80s. Don't get me wrong. Again, I love 80s movies. And look, Michael was in the 80s. Michael's one of my favorite artists ever. You know, but me and Wrestling God streams go over this all the time. You know, he's a big Prince guy. Now, 80s rock is crazy. 80s rock is really good, right? But I'm talking about pop music. Outside of Michael Jackson, let's say Prince. We got to give Prince his due. That's where it is. DJ said the birth of hip hop. And I got to say this. You guys are going to be miffed with me on this. The birth of hip hop, yes. The birth of good hip hop. How many 80s songs in hip hop do you hear on the radio today? When we go back to throwbacks, do we hear a lot of 80s rap? Not a lot. You get a lot of 90s rap. You get a lot of early Dre. But that's for another story. Arl said Rick James. Yeah. But see, while that's true, I'm between the 80s, I would rather take the 70s. 70s music. 70s pop music. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I know that's late 70s, but that stuff, whoo. I'm talking about full bands, whoo. DJ said, I'm stalking you on every platform. Yeah, you were pretty much talking to my kids today on PlayStation, bro. That wasn't even me most of the time until later on. Oh, man. So that is my review. Summer Rental, guys, B+, only because John Candy movies from this point on just keep getting better. Other than that, this movie is funny. You're going to enjoy it. I did. I'm probably going to go watch it again. Just because I got it rented. It's worth it. I liked it a lot. That's it for me tonight. Check us out at Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cash App. Love you guys so much, man. RL, DJ, man, amazing selectors. Give me a woo for that. Woo! Yes. I think this stream was definitely
Flawless victory.
It was very, very fun. Enjoyed you guys so much. Do two things for me, though. Be kind to one another. Shout out to DJ again for the awesome recommendation. Remember to choose your destiny. My name's Select Screen. We'll be back with more WWE 2K22 very soon. I'm out.